A person who does not trust is easily seen as a hardened shell, cold to the touch, shielding themselves from potential predators, even when those predators aren't as such. I believe there is a lot of negative opinions towards the very term trust issues. It can easily be labelled as a red flag and an indicator of a hazardous, toxic personality. Even the term itself can invoke emotions such as frustration and discomfort, which I believe are the very first steps of this cycle. I wonder where these feelings and ideas come from. Is it because we haven't escaped negative ideas from the 1940s, where mental health was not understood and most problems were encouraged to be swept under a rug? Are we still too soon to make way for acceptance over this issue? They say it takes generations to change a society-wide opinion to completely free it. Does the media portray trust issues in a way that isn't helpful? Are there too many horror films or psychological thrillers where the main character can't trust anyone, but their inability to trust is tied into insanity? Because if so, to create a better and more carefree world for everyone, people need to confront those uncomfortable feelings around that very issue. I have expressed this fact to someone before, and their response was that it takes a miracle to change how this world works. But it is near enough impossible to change people's minds over trust issues. Yet it feels we have overlooked how easy it is to rehabilitate those with trust issues and to help them out of that continuous mental trap. Because just look at dogs and dog shelters. That is one example of how we do have the capacity to help those with trust issues. How many of those dogs aren't trusting towards humans? How many of them whimper, make themselves small and hide away from your caring voice? There are so many, and there are so many people out there who are willing to give these poor pups a chance. People seem to understand very easily the connection between mistreatment and trust issues. They already understand that these dogs have willingly trusted their previous owners. That's my own dog there. Spice, come here. Come here, boy. Come on, up you get. Anyway, speaking about dogs, they already understand that these dogs have willingly trusted their previous owners and have unexpectedly been met with hostility, taken advantage of, emotionally and physically abused. So these dogs, they eventually tie in trusting others to being hurt. Because how can you expect someone you trust and care for to hurt you? Instead of being frustrated by their dog's inability to reciprocate that love and care, to understand that they are not going to be emotionally and physically hurt again, these people give that pooch all the patience they need to heal. And eventually, as we've seen over and over again, these canines eventually overcome those trust issues and are more healthier, happier and fulfilled. How did they overcome it? By being treated with acceptance, patience and understanding. Something what are you doing, cheeky? Something that we do not achieve with one another as humans, and instead do the complete opposite. It is as though, without the fluffy ears and the waggy tails, we hardly have any room to help a person overcome their trust issues. So yes, the fact that this problem even exists at the frequency it's at is because of us. We are to blame. Trust issues. In order to help a fellow human overcome them, is to provide them with the same patience and understanding needed. If you are truly a compassionate, gentle soul who does not want to harm another, and know for sure you will never mistreat or take advantage of this person, then you would allow that person to take their time. But you would allow the questions and the reassurance, that you would be comfortable with the repetition and not see it as a personal indicator of your own personality. Because trust issues, they are not always personal to you. They are not caused by you. Your personality and morals are not being questioned. Instead, like the dogs in the kennel, they've trusted too easily and not the exact way you believe. Sometimes, over and over, depending on how severe this inability to trust is, and instead of being aware of that severity and the trauma that person underwent to reach that position, we instead see them as extremely toxic, mentally unstable, and shun them when they need reassurance. Imagine doing this to your dog. Imagine doing this to the poor puppy you got from the kennel, because they don't trust you. It needs to stop. It needs to stop, or this will keep happening. We won't progress, and the world will never be as peaceful as it should be. So, for those very few compassionate souls who reside here on earth, for you, the viewer, for those who generally want to make the world a better place, now is the time for you to look out for those people you know. If anyone asks you over and over, promise not to leave me, do not get frustrated with them. Do not see it as anything personal. Try to recognise that every time you reassure that person, I'm not going to leave you. Try to recognise that this is enough to soothe the crippling anxiety that is weighing down on them, that it brings a sense of calmness and a smile to their face. I, myself, deal with trust issues. Since early childhood, I have opened myself up to others to the point where if they spoke to me, I would genuinely believe no harm would ever come my way. I honestly thought that if I treated others with kindness, helped them out and offered to be a friend, that I would receive the same energy and kindness back. It didn't happen. The bullying was severe and has left lasting wounds, which easily bleed instead of scab over. Even into adulthood, the amount of people who I've helped, cared for, and generally felt empathetic, energetic and happy around have found ways to mistreat me. So, over time, my subconscious mind has associated trusting others with mistreatment, because it has happened so frequently without any delays. This means that wound is left open, as nobody has given me the ointment or band-aid. However, there is one friend I have, who is evidence that with enough patience and care, even those with severe trust issues like me can be carefree. She's the only friend I have. Without me even saying, she'll still remind me that even in the grave, we will still be friends. And the amount of times I have been terrified of people leaving, I'm not with her. I'm comfortable with us not messaging one another for days. I'm comfortable in our friendship and trust her 100%. How did she achieve this? The answer to that is, she was a genuine friend. She never saw me as any more or less than her other friends. She didn't see my trust issues as a burden or anything personal. By being a genuine friend who enjoys hanging around with me as much as I do her, that is how she achieved this. One more thing I would like to say though before I finish this video off, because I have to admit, 9 minutes long, quite a lot of words. But one more thing I would just like to say. Can we please stop befriending those with trust issues if you're not able to handle those problems? Because that's another way the cycle continues, you see. By making that person believe that you're a kind and genuine person, that they will be treated equally, only to get frustrated or make the friendship one-sided. If you're doing this to anyone, stop. Nobody deserves that treatment. Thank you for listening.